So I get this question all the time, what do you do with goose meat? And today I'm going to be making goose jerky. That's the primary use I have it for, but I also feed it to my animals, and you can make steaks out of it. So we have about 6 pounds of goose meat here that has been soaking in a brine, and a pound of ground beef that I'm just adding into it because I had it and didn't want to waste it. The reason for the brine is to soak out a lot of the blood, pulls a lot of the blood out, which is more of the gamey flavor. And once you do that, you have a really good tasting meat, in my opinion, especially when you're going to be adding seasoning to it and making it jerky. And we're going to put it through the kitchen grinder, which I have in the freezer right there. Because you want to do that cold. I'm going to chop that up into little cubes, I would say. And then we will probably grind it. I'm going to stick it in here, and I'm going to actually put some of the seasoning in with that and then grind it so it kind of fuses it. I'm still waiting on my pink salt, curing salt, so I will probably still use one of these guys here for the cure. I don't have a smoker, so I'll add a little bit of smoke in there, a little bit of this blackening seasoning, primarily these guys right here. So actually no jerky seasoning. Lucky Jerky, I think it makes some of the best that I've had so far pre-packaged. So I'm gonna have a vacuum packer, and we'll do that too. Waiting on my dehydrator, and I also got one of these Lem guns, so I'm gonna be grinding this down to making then my own kind of use this guy right here. And I wish this was actually even flatter. I'll probably pancake it out slightly, even with that. That's what we're doing today. And here's the KitchenAid grinder. And as I chop off some of the extra silver skin here, I don't let this go to waste. My cat eats it. Hello, Maine Coon. And she sits here and cries about for it. And then just set it on the floor. I will clean this floor in a minute here. But she goes to town on it. It's the one thing she'll sit here and cry for while I'm cutting it. But we feed her chicken and liver and chicken brain. She eats all raw meat. She's just a kitten. Alright, so I drained my meat a little bit more, chopped it up, and then I just poured in some of the seasoning. I weighed it all out. It's about 2 ounces of seasoning that we needed for your typical recommendation for like a seasoning is 1 ounce of seasoning to 5 pounds of meat. And then if you read these seasonings right here, it's about 2 ounces. So I'm going about 2. I'm not going to be using the seasoning. I did steal the curing packet from that because I'm still waiting on my curing salt. So 1 ounce of salt, curing salt goes in for 5 pounds of meat. And I got about 5.5 ounces of meat after I ended up draining it more, pulling out a little bit more blood. So it lost a lot of liquid that way. But it's more hydrated because I did the salt water on this before. So yeah, adding 2 ounces of seasoning, and I really like this stuff. I actually got this from Walmart. It tastes really good, and it's a black sea salt with Hawaiian black sea salt and stuff. It's like really high quality in my opinion for something that's selling at Walmart. Fire and Smoke, and I got a few different things from there. These still taste more ideal for jerky in my opinion. So adding this with these two is really what I went with. And then I'm gonna add in just a little bit of this liquid smoke. All right, so I got this thing frozen. You grab this out with raw hands, it will literally like rip your skin right off. So take this part real quick so you can see what's inside. So piece. Oh, break that. So you got, this is what feeds it through. It goes in like that. And then this scrape plate, the sharp edge faces out, which it pushes it to that, and then forces it through here as it grinds it. So you do want this cold apparently. You want your meat a little bit more frozen. I probably don't have my meat quite as frozen as I should, but it'll be fine because this thing's really cold. And I think you want to turn this on high. So I'm gonna start feeding that through now. I'm gonna put a little bit of meat in here. I put my marinade in first. With the salts, because I figured it's going to fuse it a little bit more, and then I don't have to do so much mixing after when it's mixing in that curing salt, which breaks down the meat pretty quick. And this smells really good. Like to me right now, what do you call that? Raw meat that you eat. It tastes like it could be eaten raw. It smells so good. And I'm gonna put this foam down and start feeding it through with that thing because I only got one hand, so it's looking like it's working really well. All right, so there's the finished product with the first middle-sized blade. I got a smaller blade to use now to feed this back through. Just one more size smaller. And that took me about 3 minutes to do the 5.5 pounds of meat, so not bad at all. I'm super impressed with how good this thing works. I didn't feel like the meat needed to be that frozen. This thing's still really cold. I feel like if it was frozen, it would have been harder mashing that through on that and working the motor a little bit harder and almost warming it up more. So to me, this is still really cold. And I think as long as your meat is chilled, you're good. So pretty simple cleanup. I was able to just take really hot water, rinse all the meat off, and then throw it in one of the mixing bowls. One thing I didn't take into account with the meat was I did put that curing salt in first, which it does say don't use with metallic bowls or anything. I didn't use the metallic bowl, but I didn't even think about the grinder's metallic. So I think it just oxidizes the meat slightly, but the color looks fine from what I can tell. A little bit of fat pieces right there. But everything mixed up really well. It is definitely harder using the smaller the finer grinder on after you've used that because the curing salt was already making everything very mushy and sticky. So I don't even have to mix this. It's already where it needs to be. I might add a little bit of soy sauce in and a little bit more of the liquid smoke. It seemed to just really enhance the flavor as far as the smell goes so far. So I think this is gonna taste great. And then I did just get my dehydrator in the mail. So this is gonna sit for a few hours and then I will use that tonight. And I need to put this magic mill. I have it running right now just to kind of heat it up because typically with anything like this, things smell like electrical and stuff that I don't really want the meat to pick up being there, it's blowing all that warm air. But the thing seems super easy to work with. I can set the time with one button, turn it up and down. So it's been running for about an hour and 15 minutes. I set it for 4. And then 165 for the heat. And I just put those trays in. It came with a bunch of extra trays. I think the warranty information, plastic trays, skewers, these little guys are here. So I think it's gonna work great. And I can't remember what I paid for this. It was on Amazon. I want to say like 160, but I could be wrong. 130, 160. It seems to work great. So being that I've already added in kind of the amount needed for seasoning, I don't want to be using too much of this, but I'm going to use some soy sauce and some Worcestershire sauce. And that's about it. I think we're good. I added a little bit more of this milk. So I'd probably say the least favorite part of the process is actually trimming up the meat and getting everything clean is the whole process in itself. Packing this thing is not so easy. There's a little bit of air pockets in there. I was stamping it down on the table, trying to get the air out. Not a big deal, but I wish I got the bigger one now, because I only have quite a bit to go through. You can see the meat coloring is different too on the top. That's the oxidation that happens with the salt. I'm gonna now spread these on. Doing this one-handed, never done this before, so it seems to come out pretty good. Kind of stretching it all that I can, because I would prefer to have thinner pieces. Back off of this, I'm just going to hit that. Cut that there with a knife and pull it off. I'm going to finish the rest of it. So I'm actually very impressed with this Lem gun. It worked really well. You can see the pieces I got from the first one, but this one looks the worst. And I'm able to get 7 pieces to a tray, and that's probably the most I could do. I don't want to probably put them any closer together, and I still have that much left. So 3/4 of a pound is going to stretch 1 and probably 2 strips to the next, so you can say in total an extra tray. I got 5 pounds, so 3/4 goes into 5. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm gonna have probably about 8 trays in the total. Go to slice it with this, and then you can get these. You don't have to vacuum pack them too, really. We're just kind of keeping them loose packed. I'm gonna chop these these up. I did these into thirds. So, yep. So here is the beef jerky. I didn't weigh any of this out. I'll just give a little bit of it away. And probably eat a lot of it too. But pretty good amount. Yeah, that's it. Just use a cutting board and chop them into thirds. That's everything I used. KitchenAid, grinder, Lem Jerky Gun, the Cisco, vacuum packer, and vacuum sealer, and the magic mill, which this thing worked great. Super easy to use. So thanks for watching. Sorry my video footage isn't the best here. I did not have a camera mount for a tripod or anything at the time. And I'm sure in the future here I will have some other videos using these processes. And if you have any questions, shoot me a comment and I will be happy to answer anything I can.